Word. Y'all can hear me out there loud and clear. Let me know when you join the live stream that you can hear me loud and clear. Tuning in, back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and I ran a little late. I was watching the Call of Duty tournament there, and I got a little bit caught up. I'm trying to keep it going on at 8. So, yeah, 24 minutes there. So as you're tuning in, please let me know that you hear me loud and clear so that we can get this episode started. I have a lot to talk about here. We got to talk about this Tyson Fury fight. We're going to touch up on the Navarrete fight and some of the biggest fights. You know how we do here. We cover some of the biggest headlines going around in boxing. So without further ado, let's get right into this episode. Let's see here. I'm just gonna slide this over. What's up, Frontline? How you doing, brother? Salute. What's up, chat? Loud and clear. Thank you. Smash that like button. Thank you. Well, what can we say? Before we get into the Tyson Fury fight, let's just get this Navarrete fight out of the way. I got to admit, it was a little hard to watch the Navarrete fight. Both their styles matched up with each other. Um, it was a little wild fight. I don't think that neither fighter can find their right timing on each other in the fight. It seemed like when Navarrete would pick up some good timing on him, he would lose it. He would lose the rhythm. It was like he couldn't stay, concentrated on the style that he was using. Then he would like figure it out, right? He would like figure it out, and then all of a sudden he would like lose it again. And look, did that Ukrainian fighter do enough to win that fight last night? Did he honestly do enough to beat Navarrete? I looked at Navarrete's face and I looked at his face, and he was wearing it. So it looks like the damage was done by Navarrete, right? Navarrete was a little red. He was a little red. He had a little bit. I mean, they were both kind of wearing it. But it makes me think about this Ukrainian war and how all of a sudden there's been a surge of Ukrainian fighters to get championships. Loma, Berinchyk here, and now Usyk. We'll get to that in a minute. And I was just like sitting here saying, wow, what a coincidence, right? During the time of a major war, to boost the morale and make more money, it automatically, at the right time in history, it just so happens that three Ukrainian champions become champion within 6 days apart of each other. It's truly remarkable, right? That's got to be some of the best timing, if not planned, in the world, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. But I got to admit, them Ukrainian fighters made it. All three fights were tough fights. And I thought Loma beat the hell out of George Camboza. So he got that title, right? As far as Navarrete fight, I would have been happy with a draw, but they saw an opportunity. And truth be told, Navarrete didn't do enough. You know, had it been like Navarrete whooped his ass and they would have gave it to the dude, then I think we could have said that. But legitimately, the three Ukraine fighters pulled it off, I think. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, what a stroke of luck, right? Cuz you know, I don't I don't see where I would have been upset, on either side. But the the Tyson Fury fight in itself, look, I've been all over social media this afternoon. I had a small chance to check out some of the stories that they're saying and stuff, and it seems like some of these channels are just attacking the fighters. It seems like all they want to do is criticize and judge each fighter for what they didn't do or did do, and highlights, their flaws, just to put down a fighter. What I saw were two men competing, two heavyweight champions. Both these men um, got up every day, worked out, trained, and gave everything for you to sit on your couch and quickly judge freely. You don't know what these guys had to do to uh, to get to this moment in their careers. Both men. Look at everything that led up into this night. And I tip my hat off to these two competitors, two warriors, two men that decided this is what they wanted to do with their lives. This is what they wanted to be. Tyson Fury went out there and I believe he fought a good fight. He turned it up when he needed to. I thought in the middle rounds, I was like, where the fuck is Tyson Fury at? Right? He was boxing a little in the beginning rounds, but I didn't really see anything, and then he started opening up. And I think he really beat up Usyk's body. But what I didn't like about Tyson Fury is that he didn't utilize most of his range. For as long as he didn't really fight tall. He didn't keep Usyk at the end of his punches so that he could see the much shorter man trying to lunge forward. Keep him in front of you. He when Usyk would step, he wouldn't move, and it was easier for Usyk to lunge forward and to start catching with that overhand shots that he was setting up all night, basically. He was setting that shot up all night. And then all of a sudden in the middle rounds, I started seeing Tyson Fury land that uppercut. That uppercut was money. It was coming up the pike, boom. And he had Usyk in all kinds of trouble. But it goes to show you that when you're dealing with a man such as Tyson Fury in his training camp, you got to push that guy. You got to push him. You got to make sure that his volume of punches was higher, so much higher than what he would have used in the fight. He could have solidified some of these rounds even better. And one of the rounds I felt like Tyson Fury let himself down was the last final championship round, the 12th round. I believe Tyson Fury had to really show and solidify once again. Tyson Fury, he skated by that victory against Francis Ngannou. Why? Because Francis Ngannou didn't do anything in the 12th round. That should have been a lesson for Tyson Fury coming into this fight right here. How many times did he see? Man, you're watching at home. Damn, that guy had to close the show. You got to fight like a champion in the 12th round, right? I can imagine how many times Tyson Fury said that. And while in his own in particular moment, he couldn't close the show. Tyson Fury was hurt from that ninth round. But by the 11th round, it looked like his legs were underneath him. He just didn't want to get caught again. He knew that, you know, when you get caught like that and your legs go out and you don't have a lot of time to really recuperate. You ever see like in a video game, you got your power bar and it goes down, boom, and it goes down like halfway? Well, that's where Tyson Fury was. He looked okay, but his power bar was down. Trust me when I tell you. And he didn't want to walk into another one of those shots because he knew he was going to be in trouble. Out of all the times Tyson Fury's been knocked down by Dante Wilder and Francis Ngannou, he was able to get up. And though it hurted, I think those guys hit him a little too hard, where they dropped him and it was more pain. In this instance, his legs went out from underneath him. It was a different kind of situation, wasn't it, Tyson Fury? He couldn't control his balance. No matter what he was feeling up here, his legs were quitting on him. And he started to stagger all around. That referee jumped in and saved his ass and gave him a standing count, 8 count. And that brings my memory back when one of my fans or somebody stopped in my channel. I don't even think he was a subscriber and said, "There's no more standing 8 count in boxing." No, it doesn't exist. What the fuck was that? Casual fans, you know how they are, right? So if it had not been for that, and at that moment too, I kind of thought that the referee was going to step in and stop the fight. I think he was on the borderline from stopping the fight, and then he thought about it, and he was like, "No, no, no, standing eight count, eight, one, two," and he did some shit like that, right? Because I thought he was going to stop it right there. Yeah, Fury was in all kinds of trouble right there. Usyk was he was firing on all cylinders. Now, congratulations to Usyk in this fight. Usyk really showed that he wanted to show that he was a real heavyweight, and that when he made his move from light heavyweight to heavyweight, he got a lot of criticism. Oh, look at this little guy trying to come into the big boys division, and they lie about his height. They say he's 6'3". Usyk ain't no 6'3". He's barely 6'2". Yeah. So, they see this little guy, and right away, and the disrespect coming in leading into the fight by Tyson Fury, not looking him in the eyes when they went for the last face off. He didn't look him in the eyes. He didn't give him respect as a heavyweight champion. He felt like Usyk wasn't on his level. So Usyk took that personal. And Usyk said, besides all the shit talking, I'm here to fight. And Usyk knew he kept that superior mindset. He heard all the criticism coming into this fight. The body shot heard around the world with Dubois, right? And Usyk knew that his legacy was going to be questioned in this fight. Had Usyk lost this fight, forget about it. They would have all the heavyweight champions would have not gave him his respect as a heavyweight. Some would have, but the ones that were real loud and boisterous, they were gonna be like, "Nah, he was never a real um heavyweight champion of the world. He was just pretending to be. He only beat one good heavyweight champion. That was Anthony Joshua, and so forth and so forth." But by him winning this fight, he showed toughness in this fight. I never saw his expression change. Uzyk's expression. I never saw worry, doubt, nothing. It looked like he had a game plan, and he was initiating his game plan all night. No matter when it got tough for him, he was hurt in that fight. In fact, it was announced that after the fight, he was rushed to the hospital to see, in fact, if he had a broken jaw, fractured, or if there was something wrong there, right? So it goes to show what kind of fight he was in. This wasn't no easy night at the office. So Usyk really showed that he is that guy, and that he's for real in the heavyweight division. So then, right, no sooner that he wins all four belts, he's celebrating, he's quickly notified by the IBF, and the fight fans go in an uproar. I want to explain what's going on just in case either some YouTube channel misinforms you or what's really going on. Although it is very prestigious in our sport to be only the one king in the division, meaning you conquered your division and you achieved all four belts: WBO, WBC, the IBF, and the WBA, right? Okay. Although prestigious, and it is the highest honor in boxing, it is a pain in the ass to be that kind of champion. You have to answer to four organizations that want their belt to start making money. Okay? Now, meaning whatever line it was from from that champion, once he beats him for his belt, unfortunately, that falls onto him now. Yes, it does. Just like it fell onto Terrence Crawford with Sebastian Fundora. Well, this falls all on Usyk. What happened? Anthony Joshua has submitted his name as former world champions and still in the rankings. And with every win, Anthony Joshua kept moving up the rankings back to solidify himself. And it seems like just yesterday he fought Usyk twice, right? He's the number one contender for the IBF. The IBF is saying, okay, great. You and Tyson Fury fought. Awesome. Well, guess what? We're next in line. It goes the IBF, and whoever else is after them. Let's just say hypothetically, I don't know the order, so don't go texting. That's not the order. I'm saying I don't know from the IBF. I haven't looked it up yet. But hypothetically, let's just say that it went the IBF, the WBC, the WBA, and the WBO, right? That's how you would have to fulfill your mandatories and who's next in line and what sanctioning body. The IBF is the most hard up sanctioning bodies out of all the major sanctioning bodies. And you might look at this and say, wow, that's fucked up, right? No, it's not. No, it's not. The IBF is saying you are not going to look past our number one contender like every other organization allows you to do. Go fight your supers fights. That's not what the IBF organization is about. The IBF is saying, listen, if you did everything you needed to do to become our number one contender, and there's a champion we have in the IBF, and you made yourself number one, well, damn it, we're gonna make sure you get your shot. It's not gonna be a 2-year waiting list, 3-year. You know, for the WBC, they do whatever they want, right? The IBF says, no, you're gonna fight your mandatory. We're gonna take our belt back. Same thing they did to Terrence Crawford with with Jaron Boots Ennis. Why does Terrence Crawford have all the other belts but the IBF? You know why? Because the IBF already sees what I see. Terrence Crawford is not defending those titles at 147. They're just sitting on the shelf, holding up a division. You're holding up men's careers because you don't relinquish those belts so that other men have opportunities to win those belts and achieve their dreams. Yet, Terrence Crawford just going to hold on to the belts. He already got a fight negotiated August 3rd for the 154-pound title against Israel. So I tell you right now, his next fight, he's not fighting at 147. And if he gets that 154 belt, is he coming back to 147? So why does he have those belts? Why do you think the IBF stripped them? And then everybody jumped all over that and said, oh, they're being racist against the brother. And blah, 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 blah. No, that was a business move. The IBF got ahead of everyone. Either he vacates or they're going to start stripping him, Terry Crawford, soon as he gets in that ring, right? But they waited too long. The IBF is not an organization that's going to sit back and wait for you to make your decision. As you can see, the WBC allowed Jamal Charlo to do whatever the fuck he wanted for almost 2.5 years until he got into a car. Then they stripped him. You don't got to defend the belt. Then his next fight back, he doesn't even fight in his division. He brings somebody else up and fights in a catchweight. He didn't even defend the belt. His last fight against Jose Benavidez. That wasn't in his weight division, right? And he brought up a much smaller guy. They won't strip you. But that IBF organization, no, they cater to the other side. The guys coming up, the B side. The WBC, it's real bougie. They only cater to the A side. It's what you can do for me lately. You have to have a big pay-per-view company. You have to have major backing, and you got to be fighting on pay-per-view somewhere or big money. You know what I mean? And that's who they put. They've been trying to get that belt around Ryan Garcia's for so long. He's just hard to work with, and he's just a fuck up sometimes that they can't seem to do this for him. But that belt right there at 147, when I saw that they didn't allow Mario Barrio to fight for the real belt and they kept it an interim belt, I was like, man, this is just lining up so that Ryan Garcia comes out his next fight and fights for Terrence Crawford's vacant 147-pound vacant belt. You heard it here, Round One Sports Talk first. Listen, people, let's get these likes up. Let me hear what you guys are talking about. Mm. By state late stoppage, Catterall by late stoppage, you think so? Yeah, well, you know what, guys? Yeah, a lot of those guys, that's all they're gonna talk about. What's up, fellas, man? You guys are really showing out the love today. You guys over here typing it up, huh? Listen, I tell you what, after what I saw with Tyson Fury, I think that Tyson Fury he can make adjustments in this fight if they were to shoot back the rematch, which I think that unfortunately Usyk might lose that IBF title. What's going to end up happening is that either he fights Anthony Joshua again. I don't think Usyk wants to do that, but the Saudis are backing Anthony Joshua lately, aren't they? They might just, and then Tyson might have to revisit because you see the kind of rematch law that Tyson Fury's got in his contract with Usyk. It's a rematch clause, right? But it's not one of those kind of rematch clause where it was like he can't fight the number one guy and then go back and rematch Tyson. Legitimately, he's going to give Tyson back his rematch. It wasn't just right away. They didn't have that kind of rematch. It was the kind of rematch if you wanted it like to activate it type shit. It was one of those kind of rematches like that. It was a funny one. I was reading it and I was like, really? And I was like, so Usyk doesn't have to fight him next and he could still put in for the rematch for him after, like, say Usyk goes and fights Joshua, beats him again, and then he could activate it to fight Tyson, or Tyson could activate it to fight him, I guess, because he doesn't have to activate it to fight Tyson. I guess in that point he's the champion. But uh if he doesn't want to do that and he wants the money and he's going to go back to Saudi and he figures the biggest money fight right now for me would be fighting Fury again, right? And he already saw what Fury has. So when you fight a guy a second time, you're a little bit more comfortable in what you can and cannot do. And that guy has to make adjustments to beat you. You see? So you know, it could play out to be the same fight, or this could be one of these fights where it goes 1-1, because I still haven't counted Tyson Fury out. He's too big of a man, too skilled, and anything can happen in a Tyson Fury fight. Anything. Usyk, he did enough. I think he did good. I think he did great. Being the fact he had Tyson in all kinds of trouble and everything, it was easier for the judging to award him the victory had they wanted or had plans on stealing the night anyway. Usyk made it that much easier for them to award him the win. So for Tyson Fury to come out right now and to cry on social media saying, "Oh, felt sorry for him and gave him the win," well, you should have felt better about yourself and knocked him out. If you knew that or you thought that coming into the fight, well, then you knew what your assignment was. It was no retreat, no surrender. If there was no plans, then you should have had of gone on to a 12-round decision, Tyson Fury. And there was moments in the fight where that if Tyson Fury had enough in him, he could have capitalized in the moment. Meaning, in the ninth round, when Usyk had him in trouble, the next round, Usyk took that round off. He threw a lot of big shots at Tyson. He was gassed out in the 10th. That's when Tyson Fury had to recognize and really apply like a lot of pressure on him and really try to go for it right there. That's you could fight long at that point. He was tired. He would have been like trying to fake it more to you to catch his win. And if you had the right, you know, training and you blocked out that you weren't tired type shit, push your body to the limit. Tyson, there was a point in time where I think that Tyson was better at a lot of things. On last night, he tried to do like the Ali thing where he put it. Remember when Muhammad Ali put his hands out on the ropes like this, and he was trying to like do like that and shit. And just like Ali, he was past his prime when he did that move. So uh, look, Tyson Fury suffered his first loss. The theme to this my show kicking off my year. Everyone knows if you're a subscriber here at Round One Sports Talk, our theme for this year was be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose. That was my theme for this year going into it. And I told you guys there's going to be a lot of big names that are going to lose this year. And there's going to be more to come. Trust me when I tell you, there's going to be more to come. Um, when I view boxing, and I usually look a few moves ahead at upcoming talent. The top prospects. What's the storm that's coming in front of us? Who's leaving and who I see rising? Typically, that's how I kind of like view boxing. Heading into this year, 2024, coming off 2023, was one of the biggest boxing explosion years, and which kicked off this kind of year. It's bringing a lot of fans back to boxing, and it's really making it interesting for a lot of us to tune in to see our favorite fighters. Subriel Matias is going to Puerto Rico June 15 to make a title defense for none other, the IBF. And the IBF, we talked about it, it is a real strict organization, but if you can be their champion, they will back your success. They will, you can take that belt to a lot of heights, and they will work with other organizations to try to get you another title fight to unification. But you always must pay attention to your IBF mandatories, and you want to, it's an untalked about rule in boxing amongst all the champions, and we kind of know this, right? If whatever you do, if you got all the belts, and if on that day you win all the belts, the first thing that jokingly, and this is a joke in boxing, they say the first thing you should do is check with the IBF. Because you could be notified tomorrow you'll be stripped. Yeah, if you miss, oh, we sent you an email, you didn't answer, stripped. Yo, they don't play around. But yeah, look, um, it's impressive to be this kind of champion in today's era. I got to admit, it's not every day that uh man, here I go pressing stuff I shouldn't be pressing. It's not every day that you get an opportunity to fight for four belts, and the men and women that have done such have entered the room. Oliver Usyk entered the room with Mr. Terrence Crawford and Naoya Inoue, but when he brings his belts, you got to understand that when he walks into the room, the heavyweight championship belts are the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. There are no divisions that hold more weight. The heavyweight championship is the biggest. It's the biggest title. So, that's big when he walks into that room because, you know, um, when it was Naoya Inoue and Terrence Crawford, you could argue, you know what I'm saying, because it was up to the opinion. But when you're talking about the heavyweight champion of the world, and why is the heavyweight champion of the world the most prestigious belt? Okay. Tell Terrence Crawford to beat his ass. I'll wait. Tell Naoya Inoue to beat up Usyk. I'll wait. I'll be right here. Tell me how that massacre had I'm turned out. You don't have to. I know Usyk rocked him, didn't he? Yeah, that's why it's the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. Right there. That's why it is. You see? So now Terrence Crawford has his sights set on another feat. And he's moving up to the 154 pounds right now. And he's fighting for that WBA World Championship. And he's already been ordered to no sooner that if he's successful in that fight, he has to go into negotiations with the towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora. And they have until December 31st, the ending of this year, to put that fight together, or they're going to strip Sebastian Fundora of the WBO. And that's another organization also putting pressure on that fighter. And it all started with Tim Zoo's pressure to Jermel Charlo. We all remember what happened back then. If you don't, I'll freshen your memory real quick. Once upon a time, Jamel Charlo was the 154-pound IBO WBO champion, right? And Tim Zoo became his mandatory. So Tim Zoo put in the paperwork to fight Jamel Charlo, right? So Jamel told Tim Zoo, listen, bro, check this out. I want to chase my dream. I want to get all the belts. So why don't you take this step aside money and let me fight homeboy right here for the remaining of the belts, and I can become undisputed, and then me and you fight for your shot at your WBO. And Tim Zoo agreed. Yeah, bam. So Jamel Charlo went and fought. What happened? It was a draw, right? So Tim Zoo's like, yo, that's not my fault. It was a draw. I took the money. I'm next in line. I want my shot. So Jamel Charlo told him, hold up. It was a draw. Let me run it back with him. Again, here, take more step aside money. Tim Zoo said, yeah, right? And he wins all four belts. Minute he wins all four belts, Tim Zoo's like, word, I got my shot. Now that shit is with Constanza. That shit is over with. Nah, Jamel Charlo beats Constanza. Now I got my shot, right? No. Jamel Charlo breaks his hand. So Tim Zoo gets mad and he puts in more paperwork and says, I don't care. I want the belt. This is too many excuses. So the WBO told Jamal Charlo, prove that, show us by your doctor that your hand's broken. He submitted x-rays, everything to the WBO. They heard his case. They accepted it. They accepted the case. They said, well, we gave him X, Y, and Z, whatever time amount to heal. Soon as his hand heals, Tim Zoo, your next man in line, you're going to fight Jamel Charlo. Tim Zoo's like, bet, word, I got it. Here's my opportunity, right? So he thought, you know what? As soon as Jamel Charlo's hand healed, you know what he did? He went and fought Saul Canelo Alvarez. Yo, he didn't even look at Tim Zoo. So Tim Zoo's like, yo, I thought I was next. And Jamel Charlo said, listen, you step aside money, motherfucker. They not give you step aside money once. They not give you, use a step aside money. Bro, why don't you do what you do all the time and take the money, Tim Zoo, right? And by this time, Tim Zoo was tight. He was being looked at as some step aside money dude. And Tim Zoo said, I ain't taking no more step aside money. I want my belt, right? So Jamel Charlo was a mega superstar, and he was fighting against Saul Canelo Alvarez, which is another even bigger mega superstar, right? And he said to himself, they not going to strip me because all eyes are going to be on us. I'm actually still fighting, to secure a title. He gets in the ring, gets his ass whooped, stripped, and he gets on the next day and goes, man, this is so unfair. Jamel Charlo, this is so unfair. Like he was shocked. Like he had no idea they were going to do this. They took my belt. What? Bro, the WBO's been telling you for over a year, if you do not fight this guy next, we taking our belt. And when he goes and does whatever the hell he wants to pretend like so. And then Jermell Charlo says in the back of his mind, this is what he's thinking, right? He's like, yo, I only lost one belt, right? I'm good. I'm good. I can lose weight, go back down, fight Tim Tszyu, get my belt back, and I'll be undisputed again, right? Great plan. Great plan. And go. Where's Jamel at right now? Has no belts, talking about retirement out of the sport of boxing, him and his twin brother, and we ain't seen him since after that Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. That was the end of Jamel Charlo right there, that Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. And he didn't even fight for his own belts. No one actually beat him for those 4 belts. He wasn't even in his weight division. And he lost everything. Oh, what a sad case. Like, I was just like, how could you be offered the greatest opportunity of your life and come out of there with nothing? I mean, when you were going into the fight, he couldn't beat you for your 4 belts. Saul Canelo Alvarez did not have an opportunity to win your belts. Your belts were safe. How did you lose all your belts? The money, the lifestyle, and I've talked about this. Sometimes it's not even boxing that takes our favorite boxers out. It's those parties. It's what we're showing in America what our boxers should be like. The facade of all the bling bling and the money and throwing everything. And we, the fans, encourage it. We applaud it. We support it. The one that's the loudest, talking the most shit, it seems like the more drunken fans that just want blood seem the ones to be the ones that are buying the most expensive tickets. And they got all those kind of guys out there. And the more educated fans seem to be the ones in the bleachers. Seems like boxing and at some point got flipped upside down. And now you can be Jake Paul. And in many boxing, just regular casual circles, they think he's the real deal. You can't even argue with some of these guys. Bro, legitimately, I've seen people, and I'm not even making this up, because on my boxing channel, you guys might think this is a joke, but I've met them that they legitimately were telling me like Jake Paul's the best fighter in the world. They trying to say he was the best fighter in the world right now, currently. That's how fool he got some people. And that's where boxing has come. But boxing is evolving and it's changing. There's a lot of players coming in and out of boxing. It was sad to see Showtime leave boxing. Players like Prime, DAZN, all these other new guys and the guys in Saudi right now are putting on together some major fights. And there's talks in the workings with even bigger fights than that Terrence Crawford card. And I think that Terrence Crawford card, August 3rd, is one an amazing card I've ever seen in boxing. I've never seen a card quite like that card. Not even in the last 30 years, I've never seen a card like that. You mean to tell me it's like hit after hit after hit. And like some of these, like, okay, Anthony the Destroyer, Anthony the Destroyer Ruiz with Big Baby Miller, you know, we know who Big Baby Miller is because of the men that he's been in the ring with. And we know the upset that, the Destroyer Ruiz had pulled off. So I think that's just like that's probably the weakest fight on that card right there. And that's kind of saying a lot because although, I still think those two guys got a big enough name, and in some cities they could main event it, them two. Yes, they could in some cities, right? But and then you got Terrence Crawford fighting Israel, and then you got Tim Tszyu fighting um Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz Jr. That's going to be a good fight right there because you know that Ortiz is rocking 100% knockout ratio coming into that fight. And this is the fight that everybody's been talking about that they wanted the level of competition for Ortiz to fight. Here you go. You got it. Tim Tszyu's a dog. And listen, that fight can go either way, but I like Tim Tszyu in that fight. Ortiz is tough, though. He's strong, man. It's just that I haven't seen him working against the guy. Ortiz just looked too comfortable in his last victories. And I got to admit, Ortiz's like last three victories, no, it looked like he barely got any work done. He was just poof. Oh, the guy went down. He was just like, and I talked about that when you're not fighting guys on your level that are pushing you, it can give you this false sense that you're that good. You just haven't fought guys on your level, my man. So I want to see what it is with Virgil. So, and there are a lot of other big stars, and you got Isa Pitbull Cruz gonna come and make a quick turnaround and make his first title defense after securing the title from Rolly. Now he's coming in, Isa Pitbull Cruz. He's being up Jose, Valenzuela. Listen, let me tell you something right now. I love this fight. I love this fight in a lot of ways because it would be really foolish to put that man, Isa Pitbull Cruz, all 5 foot nothing of him, okay? Because he's not, he's only but 5 foot 2, 3, okay? In a 140-pound weight division, he really doesn't belong. But congratulations to that man to achieving his dream. You can never take that away from him. He is a legit world champion. And if you're going to make him fight against a guy, to defend his title, he just recently moved up. That was his first fight. So bring up another guy that wants to move up. That's a good matchup. That's a good matchup. What do you want to do? You want to put Isa Pitbull Cruz against Jacob? You want to put him against Ponce? You want to put him against, you know what I mean? It's not going to. Look, Isa Pitbull Cruz can beat anybody. He's got a puncher's chance. That little man, Mexican dude, can fight. And he's a little freaking rhino. He's a pit bull, exactly what he is. But he can get caught. He can get caught and he can be hurt. His style is like a hooker style. And if you get him tired, where that when you're at a certain point in the fight, you could be sharp in the beginning, but it's going to start to wither down as the rounds go on. Only the elite ones, only the special ones can maintain an elite guard and elite focusness throughout the entire fight. And that comes with experience. You're not just going to get that in a few fights. You're going to have to get there with that, right? With that one. And Isa Pitbull Cruz, as the round starts going, his technique starts to fall apart a little bit. Just that much. And if you can get a superior sniper that can cock back a fighter like that, he's going to catch Isa all the time. But Isa, it all depends who gets who first. Does he get you with the overhand or do you snipe him? And those kind of men, that's why they make them exciting because Isa's the kind of guy, he's going to be in your face and he's going to be trying to push the action. So I like that fight in a lot of ways for Isa Pitbull Cruz, as well as David Morrell is going to be on the card, and we have the other Cuban sensation, Andy Cruz. Andy, he's coming against, what is this? Is like his sixth professional fight. He's training with Jerron Boots Ennis, and he looked amazing. He even looked that much better on his last outing. I wanted him to score the knockout early because there was a part of me that wanted it to say, so that he can like really set the division on fire, right? But at the same time, I did notice with the ring announcers, and I believe his coach had said leading into that, I should have paid attention to that they really wanted to see him get in work in that fight. And I heard his coach say it more than once, and I didn't catch it in the moment. Had I really I would have been like, wait a minute, he might have just ordered Andy to go out there and get some rounds in. I know you can knock this guy out type shit, but I don't want you to knock him out. No, I can knock him out, coach. I know you can. I know you can. That's not what we're working on here today. In fights, you can work on things too as well. And I need you to show me you can go the distance. And then when you get to the later rounds, then you finish him, knock him out, put him away. But I need you to go deep because if you keep going out there and taking apart these guys first 2 rounds, you're not getting that kind of experience inside of you that you want early out of your fighter. So I believe that's what they wanted out of him. And sometimes I'm good with that. Like I'll catch what some of the coaches and things because I pay attention to these interviews and some of these things. So um going into that fight, I was like, man, I want him to get that knockout, and then later on relook, I realized why, and I was like, maybe that was why right there, you know. But yeah, that card and look, the Saudis are putting together this card, and this card looks to be amazing. And mind you, they did say that there will be more announcements to that actual card on August 3rd that it has opportunities to change. Demetrius Bivol, um, I was afraid this was going to happen with Demetrius Bivol and Arthur Benavidez. I was afraid that when I first heard about it, I thought that it was going to be officially canceled, but I was more on the line like Naoya Inoue, remember? And I reported on it. Remember when Naoya Inoue, Stephen Kubo, Fulton had their fight, and Naoya Inoue's camp came out to the public and said that he was injured, but not to panic, that the fight wasn't canceled, that they're just asking Stephen Kubo Fulton to have a little bit more patience, to give him 30 days or so to nurse the wound, the injury, that it wasn't that severe, and that the fight will continue. And then the fight kicked off just like that. I was hoping Demetrius Bivol and Arthur Benavidez would have done similar, and we would get the fight again. But it seems like Demetrius Bivol already has another opponent, and their fight, in fact, is being rumored to be rescheduled for October. So I'm like, how the fuck can you reschedule their fight in October, right? If Demetrius Bivol just took a fight, how could you have plans for unification? So what are you saying? That he already won this fight against the guy he picked? So no one thinks that this guy is gonna come and pull an upset. You see, and that's fucking boxing. That's boxing. When did we see, case in point, the same thing they did, try to put the cart before the horse and schedule the fight? They already signed the contract for the fight to happen. Who did that just happen to? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody take a guess before I answer it? Because I know who it is. Anybody? Who just did that, which is a big mega superstar? They had a fight lined up and they put the cart before the horse and the fight didn't happen. I'll tell you. Deontay Wilder against Parker. Deontay Wilder already signed to fight Anthony Joshua before he even got in the ring with Parker. That was already sketched in stone in Saudi Arabia. Them Saudis did it again. No, don't worry. We giving you Anthony, and Deontay Wilder went out there against Parker and did that. And Parker whooped his ass. And Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua fight never kicked off in Saudi, man. Fucked up the night. Now they're doing the same shit with fucking Demetrius Bivol. And I'm like, how can you, if he took, you got to respect that guy that's in front of him. Don't announce, at least if you're going to look behind the scenes, hey, Arthur, I'll see you in October. Don't announce it. Don't make it look worse for yourself, just in case some Buster Douglas Mike Tyson shit kicks off. This is boxing, man, and anything can happen in boxing. And I sometimes when they do that, and you see their coach or manager or some boxer, sometimes they'll step in and say, "Listen, I don't disrespect the guy I'm fighting. I am not looking past him. I can't look past him. I gotta look. That's my opponent right now. That's who I need to be concentrating on. I don't want to answer any questions about any future fight or what you think I'm gonna do with another guy. You understand? That's what um uh Derek James felt like in the post conference against Tank Davis and Frank the Ghost Martin. They started asking Tank Davis about already future fights. And Derek James got pissed off and said, how the fuck are you gonna disrespect me sitting right here? How you gonna ask him about somebody else when his opponent is sitting right next to me? You need to be asking him about him, not about anybody else. Because he ain't gonna make it to them dudes if he don't get by him. So keep your questioning on this guy, Frank. You see? And I find that ironic because, sometimes fighters can get ahead of themselves and they had big plans and they had made big promises, and Adrien Broner, and he's about to fight now too. I don't know what this that guy, I'm never gonna say that anything about him. Just I wish him nothing but the best. And I hope that Adrian Broner gets his shit together. And I truly hope that he even comes back and makes a pretty good run. Who knows? At one point, he was a real great talent, but everything he does and all his antics will not allow me to, waste any time in thinking that, he put himself in a category where you're gonna have to show me before all this talk. I've seen you schedule fights. I want to see you get in the ring and actually look good in the ring. So I don't know whatever's going to happen to him, but that's unfortunate. But I wish him the best. I wish him the best. I have no animosity, and I don't doubt anyone that's ever tried to lace these gloves up, because I know exactly how hard this shit is. And in fact, I never got to live out my dream. So listen, for the men and women that took it that extra step and further and committed them lives, hats off to you. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah, man. Listen, it's just Adrian Broner, and every time I even say something about him, now I feel a little obligated to share where his pitfall was. Adrian Broner's a sad case of believing in the hype, not knowing how to separate the two. When he used to watch Floyd Mayweather go into his spiel, Adrian Broner must have not noticed that the only time that Floyd starts throwing money, putting on his chain, starts talking out the side of his neck with the women, is when he has a fight scheduled. Floyd Mayweather learned real early in his career that it was part entertainment. He knew how to balance the two. See, Mayweather portrayed like he lived a partier's lifestyle, but he never took a sip of alcohol, never smoked weed, and never did any drugs. He lived like the facade, like he faked like he was living that lifestyle. And Adrian Broner fed into the lifestyle. I guess Floyd Mayweather didn't have time to tell him, yo, this is a gimmick. This is just for show. Like Floyd would go to the club weeks before leading into the fight, like 3 weeks leading to the fight. He's TMZ with paparazzi. Was back then, it was back in Floyd's day. They snapping photos, and his opponent is seeing the updates, and he's like, "Man, Floyd's in the club." Yo, Floyd would walk through the club out the back door, put on his sneakers, and start jogging. Right? He already got what he wanted. He got the media to see him in the clubs late night taking pictures. But Floyd, one of his training hours was at like 3 in the morning. He would jog at like 3 in the morning. That's when he did his best jogging, he said. So this is what he would do. So it was mostly a facade. If you never notice, check whenever Floyd is promoting one of his exhibition fights. He has like Tank Davis fight coming up. He got his promotional cap, or he's in the media. That's the only time the chains come out. If you see Floyd on like social media, like on day-to-day basis, what does he look like? A regular jogging suit. It's fresh as fuck though, you better believe. But where's the chains at? He's with his little grandson. Hey, little grandson, you don't see him with no bling bling. You see him in the pictures with his kids, his family, in the house, whatever. He just got expensive clothes on and shit, or maybe an expensive watch. Where's all the 5 chains? Where's all the fuck? None of that shit. And Adrian Broner didn't know that was a gimmick, and the world swallowed him up. You cannot actually live that kind of lifestyle and be a professional athlete. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll will consume you. You can't train like that. Floyd said, if I can get into my fighter's head and make them go out there and actually start drinking, because they're like, Floyd's doing it, I'll do it. Dumbass. That's water in that cup for one, not vodka, right? Floyd don't drink. He never did a drug, smoke, a joint, nothing in his entire fucking life. And you fell for it. And that was the persona he did. And a lot of these boxers, like Ryan Garcia now, he's actually, look at me. I told my brother, I said, listen, Floyd might have gave Ryan Garcia some tricks. Just because you saw Ryan Garcia get on that scale and chug that beer, that doesn't mean that there was beer in that bottle. They could have opened that bottle, dumped it out, and poured water in that bitch. All he had to do was what your eyes saw. Him drinking the beer. He psyched the world out, bro, and went in there and put the Beach by Dre on fucking Devin Haney. Yeah. I told my brother. My brother was like, huh? I was like, yeah. Then my brother sends me this other clip, to show me. And he's like, look at this dude, how he broke down what Devin Haney's little brother reaction was. And I didn't even pay attention to the video, but I said, explain it to me, to my brother. My brother said, they got Devin Haney's little brother on social media saying, we did everything right. Why didn't we win? And why did he win? And I don't know which way this guy took it because I didn't have to hear his side of the story. When my brother told me it, I, I think I saw it for what it is. I said, you know what that little kid was saying? That Devin Haney as a newfound Muslim in his faith. He did everything right. He prayed, he fasted, he did everything right. He wasn't swearing or doing all this kind of crazy antics. While Ryan Garcia was claiming Jesus, smoking weed, drinking liquor, and saying all this crazy stuff. And his little brother said, I thought if you were strong in your religion and your faith, why did God give him the victory? That's what Devin Haney's little brother was referring to. Devin Haney's little brother was, and he doesn't understand. He's like, how is it that my brother did everything right, the Muslim way, and they gave the devil the victory in his eyes? That's what Devin Haney's little brother was referring to. And I don't even have to hear whatever twisted stories these guys came up with to feed you guys why Devin Haney's brother said that. Whether it was he knew something before or conspiracy leading to a steroid test. No. I know what he was talking about as soon as my brother said it. Because Devin Haney's new in his religion. And remember, what was Devin Haney saying in the post fight? Yo, humbly dala, right? I'm sorry if I disrespected anybody. I'm not fluent the way they say it. I try to. And he said, he's like, saying his thing. And he says, Ryan, it doesn't matter you're saying Jesus because all these antics that you're doing and the message that you're saying, save the kids, but look at the message that you're giving to the kids, Ryan. All this shit is going to backfire on you. What was Devin Haney telling his family back at home and his brothers and his teachings to get his brothers to believe in his newfound faith and his new religion? Muslim, right? And he's telling them, bro, little bros, watch that our God ain't going to let us down. We're praying, we're fasting every day, and his antics are going to betray him. And he wins? The boy is confused. Devin Haney's little brother is questioning, yo, why is this? You understand? But look, through all in all, Devin Haney's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. He's all of 25 years old. He suffered his first loss. Everybody wants to act like his career's over or he just died or something. Nah, he lost a boxing match. Okay, move on. Right? Listen, as far as what it is, taking back the O, let me tell you something right now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you do in your life or what you do or what you do with your money. I'm not here to tell you what you do with your money, but if you put money on Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight, and you won money because Ryan Garcia won, and they go and overturn this, right? And they give Devin Haney the victory and Ryan Garcia the loss. Does that mean I could go back to Las Vegas with my losing ticket and now say, hold up, wait a minute, I want my money right now. Right now. Bro. And what if you lost 10 racks? What if you lost 20 racks? $250,000. And you put $250,000 on Devin Haney and Ryan won. Vegas took your money. You really believe that it's that easy for the hands, the people that got to say so to say, yeah, go ahead, overturn that. You really think that it's just like that? They can do that? Yo, the best you might get out of it is a no contest. That's the best. Everything else you're stretching. The reason is we already explained it. The first contract was void. He signed for the money for the second one. Once you sign for that second contract, whatever was in that second contract, that's the new contract, brother. And you were informed about the 3.5 pounds and you said yes. How's that cheating? You should have pulled out of the fight. The fact that you remained the champion, Devin Haney, shit. Take it from there and walk away, man. Take it on the chin like a real champ, my man. Fuck it. Dust yourself off. Get up. Go forward. Where these both fighters go from here, what happens to Ryan Garcia's suspension, time will tell. We'll see. Jerron Boots Ennis, he's fighting Crowley July 13th. I want to see the return of Jerron Boots Ennis. I think he's one of the best talents we have. As far as the men that are starting to leave, we're in a couple more years. We should be losing our Saul Canelo Alvarez, our Terrence Crawfords. How much more can they give? Saul's got 60 fucking professional fights, bro. He's got a lot of boxing miles on that ass, bro. So I'm like, how much? I know he's 33, he's going to be 34, but that's a lot of fights. Saul got to think about, you know, what good is it to get all this money and in 10 years you're sitting on that chair on the beach with a straw, right? And everybody else is enjoying your money. They buying cars, butt lifts, BBLs, and you over here, and they taking your hand, having you sign shit, right? And that's where you end up. Everybody else is enjoying the fruit of your fucking all them wars. At some point, sometimes some of these fighters got to answer for staying in it too long. I know they love it. I know that it's something that they feel good in the minute. They don't feel like nothing's going. And believe me, that shit just sneaks up on you. And one day you're just sitting around, and I've seen it. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've witnessed this. Like old fighters, like, I meet them 1 year or something. I stay in contact with them. I go in and talk to them 2, 3 years later, and it's worse. You could tell the difference when it's like that. If I'm around them every day, I might not gradually catch on because I just keep saying, "Oh, it's just him, it's just him." But when you don't see him for that while, and the next time you see him is 2, 3 years later, it's like a really apparent. You could see how much it's affecting him. And I've been in situations like that. I can't even tell you how many fighters I know like that or men like that fought in different other sports, even football players, concussion protocol guys. I know ex NFL players too, and you know, it just not cool when yeah, everybody's chilling with your shit. And so at some point you gotta say enough is enough. I've given enough blood. I've spilt enough blood. I've made enough money. How much more above your means do you need to live? You know, so What's up, guys? Bam, bam. I hope you've been holding it down. I've been dropping it. Yo, can I get the likes up? Can I get a round one if we've been dropping it here on the show today? Can you show me the support? Can you show me that you've been listening? Can I get an R1? What's up, Koki? Chilling. Mill City's gotta stop posting those old ass interviews as new interviews. That's all they do. Copy, print, receipt when they don't got nothing else to talk about. Some of these guys don't have the charisma or the knowledge, but they're not me, and they can't pull off a show every night. So what do they got to do? They got to keep hitting you with the repeats and the repunts, and they got to keep spinning it around because they're not entertaining. Dull and boring as hell YouTube channels. That's why you come here, Round One Sports Talk, where we keep you entertained. Can I get them likes, baby? Come on, people. Let's go. Undisputed. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Showing the love. The chat showing the love. Come on, I gotta feel it. The boots fight. What would you say, Boogie? Hold up, I caught that, Boogie. Let me. My man Boogie got something to say. You know. 5'10". AB was up. P, yeah. Yeah, but he made a lot of money. Now look how much money he got. Nothing. That's fucking sad when you see those fighters with all that money. You know, the Joe Louis story. Oh, that's just a heartbreaker story, man. Heartbreaker. There's just so many of them. That Boots fight in Philly, the homecoming, it's going to be a good fight, ain't it? You going to watch that one with me? I know you're going to be there, Bam Bam. Yeah, some upcoming Puerto Rican guys on the undercard. We'll check that out. Remind me, Bam Bam. We'll do some research on it. If you can, drop down a little research or whatever. And if you ever want to like help me out with anything, Bam, just hit me up on the messenger or whatever. Or that, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk later and shit. And we could you know what I'm saying? You never know. You could, officially come on the Round One Sports Talk team. You know what I mean? Up on the crew. Get a link sent. Get on the live chat. We're gonna have to test out your broadcasting skills first, but we're looking to branch out. So and if you're a specialist at a particular sport like football, baseball, boxing, like that, start like a morning show and shit, and I can put you on, and I'll do the boxing because that's my thing, and then I can have a guy like do like other sports and shit. Really start to step this shit up. That'll be future plans. Don't worry, one thing at a time. We're gonna start to bring things around here, but absolutely, we want to get more coverages and interview with some of these fighters. Some of these guys won't do interviews unless you pay them. Go figure, right? So, so when I see a lot of these interviews now, I'm like, really? That's how that goes? I gotta pay you to come on my show? Like, really? Like, I'm like, all right, don't worry. I'll blow up, and one day you'll be wishing to come on my show, and I'll be like, nah, you're gonna have to pay me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say it, baby. Make it so. You know what I mean? Let's go. My man, Bam Bam. Yeah, baby. Yo, listen, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? If you stepped up and got the wrench, and you got the wrench, bro. Listen, what you think? You just gonna be sitting there and not be nah. That's not how we do things around One Sports Talk. You know what I mean? Gotta keep this. Yo, Bam, keep keep doing the right thing. You might get blessed with one of these. I listen, don't go crazy right now. All right, on me. Let's go. Just like Optic rocked in Call of Duty today. Just in case I got any of my Call of Duty fans out there, Optic really did their thing. They showed their ass. This boxing channel. So if you guys don't know nothing about that, but it was cool. That was fire. You know what I mean? What's up, Frontline? What's up, everybody? What's up, chat family? Thank you for tuning in to another edition here at Round One Sports Talk, man. I'm having a blast right now. Yeah, you guys are chilling. Look, guys, I gotta tell you, we got some really big fights coming up right now. We got, well, Anthony, Dante Wilder's going off on June 1st. You guys do know that, right? Dante Wilder. So he's gonna be fighting off too. Now, what he's trying to do, he trying to make a quick turnaround from that Parker fight, and he's gonna try to get a victory here to get himself back into that Saudi money. Like Anthony Joshua's been collecting them big Saudi checks. And from what I heard, for him knocking out Francis like that when Tyson couldn't do it, and the Saudis was like, yo, how the fuck we gonna be invested in boxing if the world is seeing that the heavyweight champion is getting dealt with like this by a guy that just walked into boxing? What's that say about our sport? So right before the fight, I guess His Excellency, um, the he out of she, I don't want to say his name. I don't like fucking up anybody's name. And he went to the locker room and he told Anthony Joshua. He looked him right in the face and he said, "Yo, stop this shit right here." He said, "I want you to end all the shenanigans, and I want you to show the world, what a real heavyweight champion looks like, and I want you to show Francis Ngannou no mercy. I need you to go out there and knock him out for boxing because the Saudis already had future plans investing in a sport of boxing. But how could you be, going to make an investment when that fucking heavyweight champion of the world is doing this shit over a guy that just walked into your sport?" Now, I agree. He was a special kind of human. He didn't walk into the sport off the street, off his couch. He was a freaking UFC champion of the world. Okay, so he was a dangerous man. Mind you, if you didn't have them gloves on, all those men, even including Anthony Joshua that knocked him out, you take those gloves off those guys and put them in an alley, Anthony Joshua might be, I'm asking for forgiveness. Yo, 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 Francis Ngannou, I did what I had to do. Yo, yo, chill. Yo, he gonna kick his head off. So he went in the locker room and he told him, he said, listen, knocked him out. Anthony Joshua laid him out like that, and I could imagine that made the Prince dude mad happy. And when you get those kind of men happy, I could imagine the kind of gifts that they give you. I remember when some of the guys were sitting in the audience leading into that fight and they showed some of the gifts that the Prince gave out to some of the guys. He gave him like a fucking Rolls Royce. He gave another guy like a $250,000 watch. He gave another guy like he was just giving out. And these were just like basic, like everyday. Hey, how you doing? Here, here's the keys to the car. Here, boom. Like it didn't give, and the Rolls Royce is like $250,000, brand new. And he ain't give you no old shit, right? So, and the watch that he gave to Ronaldo that was sitting next to him, and then he gave another gift. Like, yo, so if he's just giving Ronaldo like watches just for, hey, Ronaldo, come watch the fight with me. Here's a $250,000 watch. Bam, just sit next to me, right? On that type shit. And he knew Ronaldo for a long time. That's not the first time he met him, right? He's just, this is what I do, right? And if he gave you an order and asked you to do him a favor, right, to also save his investment, he wants to invest in boxing. I need you to bring boxing back so I can invest it in. Go out. That was a. I can imagine the money he gave him on top of him, the gifts. You know, shit, man. He might have gave him a fucking diamond ring, yellow diamond. 5 people died mining that diamond, all right? Yo, like, yo. So that's why I say, like, them Saudis are really changing people's lives. These fighters are making the kind of money they would have never made anywhere else. Yo, all the fighters that fought in Saudi, what's the first thing out of their mouth after they win? Win, lose, or draw. What's the first thing out of their mouth? I don't want to fight anywhere else. I want to fight right here in Saudi. I love the prince. Yo, my man, listen, I will come back. What you want me to fight tomorrow? I'll fight tomorrow. Yo, yo, that money must be that good. It really has to be. Yo, there has not been a fighter that has not fought out there that didn't say, yo, like people, the fighters are legitimately already saying, I don't want to fight anywhere else. I don't want to fight right here. All my fights will be scheduled here. Talk about Naoya anyway doesn't leave Japan. Them dudes ain't gonna leave Saudi Arabia, and they're not from Saudi Arabia. Yo, it's crazy, but that's what kind of he's doing it. And then some people I've even seen in social media, they don't like the prince. They don't like calling him prince. They don't like saying his excellency. They don't feel that they have to call him that. They're taking it way too personal. Way too personal, right? When you start saying, I'm not gonna call him his excellency because he's not his excellency to me. Bro, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, okay, check this out. If you, I don't know, stumbled upon oil or your family left you a huge oil rig and you got all this money and you built yourself up like this and you became that kind of man and you made that kind of title for yourself, right? I'm pretty sure he don't give two shits about what you think about him, right? And if it was me and I had made myself that kind of man and I made myself the prince of fucking Massachusetts and I walk outside and I address myself as the prince and you're going to walk up to me and say, well, I'm not going to answer to you. Well, then keep walking that way. I don't need you to, right? I made myself this kind of man. I'm the one that did this. You think I'm gonna care about what I do or what? See, that's the thing. On the outside looking in, when I judge a man, I realize quick that hold up, he's deserved to be called the president of the United States of America. Why? Because he actually is the president of the United States of America, right? I might not like that man, but I gotta give him respect to what he did with his life and who he is. How the fuck am I gonna criticize the president of the United States of America sitting on my couch, talk about he's a bum? Fuck I do with my life. That man made it to the president of the United States of America. Are you crazy? Right? But people will quickly take a name and they'll decide, oh, I'll decide to destroy your name for everything you work for, right? But if you ask the person that's actually living that life what he thinks about your opinion, I don't think you should stick around for that because it's all up to the individual what they did with their lives. That dude made himself a prince. I'm not into princes, kings, royalty. I'm not into none of that. I was born poor, what we consider like the peasant people, right? Right? To in a sense. And I'm just trying to change my stars. I've never lived that kind of life, and I never addressed any man in the world like that. But I understand respect, and I understand hard work, and I understand achievements. And if men and women have put themselves in positions to live up to these titles that they put up upon them or that we gave them, they made it there. That's all I can say to that. So whether or not you want to give them, like credit as a prince or what he's doing or how you view him, I never judged him like that. And I say the word prince. I don't view him as a prince. I just look at him as a businessman. That's it. That's all I have ever viewed him as a businessman. And he's changing the sport of boxing. That's it. Whether or not he's a tyrant, he did this or he's his, I know nothing about him. I'm just reporting on boxing. But I do know what titles can do to people. And if you don't have the right title, there's some people that are not going to be in agreement with you. So in my eyes, I just view the things on as the sport. What is he doing for sport? That's all. I don't care about his oil. I don't care about his money. I don't care about who he's friends with. or what he does besides on the other sides, I don't need to look at. That's not my business. That's his life, and that doesn't attract to me. So I don't need to get my nose into his affairs, and I don't need to put him down or pick another man apart or judge anybody else when I don't have the right to throw the first stone. I've done mistakes and I've never been perfect. So I will not criticize anybody else like that. Life taught me that, right? So listen, fight fans, I hope you got something out of this episode, this show. I always like to bring a different twist to things. We could also talk about a lot of different things, but mostly all we're going to talk about the biggest fights and some of the best fighters fighting the best. Um, you know, what do I think about three Ukrainian champions within 6 days becoming champion? Sounds a little far fetched, but I think they actually did it. I, I I really don't have any argument about that. They might have pushed, at one point in one direction, but these men knew these circumstances when you come up to fighting these kind of fights and stuff, and you really need to take care of business if you want to either solidify as a championship, defend your championship, or claim a championship. These are the things that you need to do. Men like Terrence Crawford, Naoya Inoue are in fact doing exactly that. And they are dispersing of their competition on knockout levels, and that's what you need to be doing. And when we look back at the men that are doing it the best way, this is why they separate themselves from everybody else. We didn't go through a 12-round decision like we saw in Saul Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia, did we? Naoya Inoue fight was extremely exciting, and Terrence Crawford is still coming off one of the biggest ass whoopings that no one saw happening to Errol Spence Jr. So that's how you take care of business. If you want to be talk about the elite of the elite in today's boxing today. So, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. I've always had a great episode. You guys have been the best. Please, hit the like button. What are you saying, Bam Bam? And Shakur, what? Shakur was the most dangerous fighter at 140, and he was. Oh, you guys be wild. You guys be going in at each other. Listen, nobody likes to speak about Matias, and I'm gonna keep reiterating this, guys. The only time fighters talk about Subriel Matias is when he has a fight scheduled. If you don't notice, if you haven't picked up on their pattern, and when he has a broken hand. When he had that broken hand and that Subriel announced it to the world that he was getting his hand fixed, no soon that same week, Tio came out with that bullshit, right? And I mean, that same week. The only time you're going to hear these fighters talk is when he's got a fight scheduled. When he didn't have a fight scheduled, or he was going through that promotional situation that he was going to sign up with Ed Hearn, that way he could get bigger backing and stuff, which was very good, right? And I hope that works out for Subriel. But you'll notice, you'll start to see it. You'll start to see it. Subriel is the real boogeyman at 140-pound weight division. And I know what you're going to say. You can't be considered a boogeyman with a belt, because the definition of a boogeyman is the guy that the champions are avoiding. That's the boogeyman. That's the guy that no one wants to fight. How the fuck do you get the name the boogeyman and get the belt? You know why? Because he's that dude. You don't get the name the monster Naoya Inoue, the monster. David the Monster Benavides. Those are monster names. You better, you don't want nobody saying, yeah, when them kind of guys lose with those kind of names, you hear all the memes. The Monster Slayer. You know, he wasn't a monster. He was a little moquito. You know what I mean? Like they're dying. They are waiting to smash on this dude's name. Because when guys got names like that, you got to live up to those names, bro. You know, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you get the word of fucking boogeyman, and it is for. And then we all know this. We all know this. Joe, Subriel body the dude in the ring. Let me say that low. Y'all know that. When you looking up for your fighter to go fight a man like that, would you think that don't come up? You're like, yo, I got to fight it for your kid. Yeah, my kid's ready. He want all the smoke. What's his name? Subriel Matias. Would you say? Did you just say Subriel Matias? Hold up. Ain't that right here, right? Hell no, I ain't putting my boy in the ring with that. Listen, you crazy. He's a killer. mm, mm. And I say that softly. I don't want to hurt no feelings, but bro, are you serious right now? You beating the break off men like that you beating them with your hands and you causing what? And you want me to fight who? Hmm, you better think about that fight. Me might not gonna kill you. That shit ain't gonna happen like that. But I can guarantee you one thing. You're not coming out of that fight the same. I can guarantee you that much. And whatever that fight puts onto you, however it takes you to, look, there are fighters that I believe that can come into this fight against Subriel Matias virtually not that much damage. But I haven't seen them. I know there are style that can pull it off, but that's in my head. As far as I gotta judge and use what we have at 140. I can't just say, all right, if I had my choice, I pick Sugar Ray Leonard. I'd pick Sugar Ray Leonard in his prime to beat Subriel Matias. Yes, I would. I'd take a Sugar Ray, and that would be the style that I think can beat him. His legs by themselves, Sugar speed, the way yeah, and Sugar could probably get out of that fight with minimum damage and get the victory. But there ain't no Sugar Ray Leonard in the 140 right now. Tio ain't Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I'm just basing it off what we have. Because I'm not biased. And even though Subriel Matias is Puerto Rican, you know, in my boxing channel, this is not the Subriel Matias boxing channel. This is a boxing channel. And we kick it facts. But if you're doing the right thing and you rocking the right way, then I'm gonna give you love. And Subriel Matias is doing what he needs to be doing. And he's retired 5 fighters in a row, rocking 100% knockout ratio. And damn it, where's the fucking favoritism in that? How could I be favoritism when his fucking record by himself speaks volumes? 100% knockout ratio. I can't even show him bias. Bro, you're doing it too good. You got 100%. If you had like 40, I could talk you up a little bit. But you're already at the top. You know what I mean? So it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Subriel Matias is the best 140 pounder that we have. I think Teofimo Lopez is the craftiest. I think that Devin Haney is like s- is still one of the most skillless. He has a lot. Devin Haney has a lot of skill. I don't think he has enough power yet to back his skill up, as we saw with Ryan Garcia. But as far as the hardest punchers at 140 right now, Subriel and Tio are leading the way. And I'm not sure. I seen fucking um Rolly's reaction to Isa Pitbull's Cruz power. I saw how he was moving him around, but Rolly was so wild and his footwork wasn't that solid that I can't really judge that based on on his power that was doing that. I think it was a combination of Rolly's awkwardness and Isaa's punch, you know. So, but yeah, as far as that goes, they're gonna have a problem with Subriel, and Subriel really needs to start making a real good run for those titles, I believe. Yeah, listen, uh, and that was the thing, brother. We were this close. We were this close from getting Subriel in even a better situation. Now, the MGM, Las Vegas, shit like that, those are big fights, right? But the big, even bigger fight for Subriel Matias would have been in New York City during Puerto Rican Day holiday in June. He's fighting in June 15th. That June 15th card where Tank Davis is fighting in New York, and Subriel Matias would have fought in New York and during the Puerto Rican parade. That's basically Puerto Rico, New York City. That would have been a big. I mean, Las Vegas would be big. Yeah, it would be big. But I think he would sell out and like pack it in New York, Madison Square Garden. And I think he'd go right past the Barclays Center. See, Javante Davis packed the Barclays Center. It's a little bit lower than Madison Square Garden. Barclays Center is like the second. But when you go to Madison, the Mecca of boxing, you go to Madison Square Garden and you open the whole fucking Madison Square Garden and sell that bitch out. Because sometimes some fighters will only get like half the what Madison Square Garden has the ability to pack. But if you're that kind of guy and that kind of fighter, you'll get the whole arena. And you could put some big numbers in there too. And I think he can. I think Subriel Matias is on that kind of high right now. That a lot of people listen, bro. I was touched when I saw Subriel Matias is like, I think it was like he just had beat the first, I think it was the first guy when he did started that trend of no mas out of the five guys. I think it was the first fight, or it might have been the second one. It was one of them. But yo, he was fighting in some some uh some city, some little ass city. I forget the name of it. And it was in the middle of nowhere, bro. Right? And I was like, damn, they ain't gonna get no Puerto Ricans to go out there to see Subriel. I was like, there's mostly it'll be some Latin people. It's just not gonna be Puerto Rican people. Maybe the support we'll get from Mexicans, Ecuadorians, things like that, because they do support us because we support them. They Latin fighters and shit. But I didn't think the support was gonna be there. And when I tuned in and watched the fight, man, that I saw all those Puerto Rican flags in the crowd, and I saw the support that was there for him, I knew then. I knew right there and then the people had his back, and that we were like, yeah, that's our guy. There's a couple Puerto Rican dudes we want to get behind, but they're a little shaky. And we're like behind them, but they're like, and as you see, Emmanuel Rodriguez just lost his belt. We got a 105, 106 champion, Oscar. So he looks pretty good. He only has a few fights. But, and Amanda Serrano as our female woman champion. We get, come on, that's Amanda Serrano, for God's sakes. The things that woman has done in boxing, forget about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a man, Subria wants to like at least, be up there with her, because she's really um putting the female and Puerto Rico boxing on her shoulders. When we don't have that real dominant Puerto Rican fighter. Subriel Matias is currently filling in that spot for us as our strongest fighter, and you always show support to everyone else, but there's always that special place for your fighter when he's that much more connected to you and you have that connection to that fighter. So absolutely, I look forward. seeing June 15th on that day. Um, my fingers crossed. I hope I meet the man, Subriel, and have you know, sh- share a couple words and stuff, maybe on and off the mic. It doesn't always have to be always boxing. But yeah, mainly, yeah, I would like to ask him some good questions and shit. But yeah, that is a great fight. And Liam Paro's coming to bang it out, guys. And I can't wait for that fight. So, fight fans, listen, listen. Me too, Edwin. Yeah, you know it, Bam Bam, brother. If I could take you with me, I'd throw you in a suitcase and we be. You know what I mean? I'll be like, yo, it's my cameraman. Let him in. You know what I'm saying? For real. Yeah. He's with me. So listen, fight fans, man, I love you guys 100. You know that, Bam. We be in there. But don't worry. There's future plans, future plans. Bam. You keep working, put it in your time here at Round One Sports Talk, and just maybe, you might get Employee of the Month. Don't get a blown up head. You know what I'm saying? Not just now. All right. Oh, maybe. I said maybe. All right. Love you guys. Here from me to you. Give the video likes. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click that bell notification icon. It'll alert you to all the videos I drop. That way you don't miss one. And I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace. You guys have been the